We can sit differently.
So.
We can go side seat, which is something Reg and I did.
Okay.
The thing is, Reg has been on before, so do you want to start off with like a side seat where I come in like a co-pilot like this?
This is fine.
This is what some people do on fucking YouTubes, and I think it's like kind of, I don't know. We can do it. It's no big. All right. The only thing is like I have to keep looking in this way. But,
oh shit.
We can go.
All right, we're good. I get feedback because that's going to be the live video itself, so we can interact with the chat.
Side seat, which is something Reg and I did.
Okay.
The thing is, Reg has been on before, so do you want to start well?
There we go. Now it's good. So, Dave, good to have you on, man.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well, doing well. So we know each other from work,
Of course.
and just had good conversation because it's a unique place to work.
It is. It is. I mean, anytime you're talking about any type of industry like any type of service industry, you're gonna get
that
some
in
unique
personalities.
Yes.
Yep.
It just gets that way. You find people from all different type of places, nationalities, different cultures. They mix because everybody's just they're making a living.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is when you have a place that's that busy, it's like everyone's in it to make sure everything's top notch.
Nobody's here playing.
No, everyone's here
playing.
Everyone's here to be making money, and that's the thing about like serving too. Is like we literally make most of our money off people enjoying being here.
Yeah, like we need you to enjoy your time here with us.
Like literally, even if I'm taking pizza out to somebody, it's like I'm still gonna do it as if it was my own table and stuff like that. Like,
well, I mean,
it's
if
just,
you don't wait from that standpoint, I pretty much think like you're not gonna get much.
No,
you're not gonna get much. You want to make sure that they feel all right. You know, when you speak to them in the beginning, you know, you get a nice boisterous, you know, volume to you.
Yeah,
you know, and so that you grab the attention.
Yeah, you have to start off quick, and then you can slow it down.
Yeah,
because some people, if you just talk boisterously, as you said, sometimes they're like, "Oh, slow down, man."
I mean, it depends on how you do it.
You have to figure it out. You have to play with it.
Start off like that, and then you slow.
You slow
because you want you commanding the attention first.
You have to command the
commanding the attention first. You can't really let them start dictating otherwise.
Oh, I've done that before. Especially if you are tired and you are hurting.
Yeah.
Because if you actually are tired and hurting, and then you like don't give it a strong one, that's when they'll walk all over you.
Yeah,
that's,
like, yeah. Just give me this.
Right.
Excuse me?
Oh, I'll tell people. I'll say drink order. I dictate the order. Like I'll say it with a smile too. I'll be like, "That's what I'm requesting."
I mean,
you're not telling me.
Of course, you still have to read tables, and you're gonna have to, look and decide. Okay, who wants to do what? All right, are you up for like a formal greeting, or are you just like, look, I'm here for lunch, hurry it up?
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I do like the question of asking, have you been here before? Is it your first time?
Yeah. Because,
like, the implication that it's your first time, some people are like, huh. I'm like, okay. You're one of them. Like, when they laugh when I ask if it's their first time, I'm like, I get it now. Like,
yeah, all right.
Thank you. Message received.
What would you like?
What do you want? Got it. God. Bye.
Man, some people, they just shoot you the look.
They just want that pizza.
There's some people that just shoot you the look like, are you fucking serious?
Like, they have to have, like, ritual dine-in, like, set up that. So they can just order their pizza, not even talk to one of us. It just, like, shows up. Like, one of the cashiers just sets up a table.
It's so funny because when you get that person, it's just like, are you serious? Can you just ask me what I need?
Right.
You just look at them in the face like, all right, well, here we go.
But tourists are the exact opposite. They want to be told. They're like, what do I want?
It depends.
International big time.
It depends on what kind of tourist you're talking about. There's some tourists that they want the whole
small deep dish classic, small deep dish special.
Oh yeah, that of course.
That's
but
like
those are like automatic. But I'm talking about the ones that are just like, look, we read about this on the internet. We don't want your big long greeting. We know what we're getting already. Like those, they're funny, but.
Some people play with it though. Some, like, I just had a lady today. She was fun with it. She's like, "Oh, you're one of them." Like, that's so Chicago. I love it.
Oh, you're one of those, huh?
That's I'm like, yeah. Oh, and I just played into the character.
I love it. That stuff is funny as hell because these are real people. These are real people.
But like, I didn't look at it as if she's like messing. She's just playing with me. And it's not. malicious, I can see how people be like, "Oh, so that's how it's gonna be." Like,
I can't
escalating. It's like,
I can't even see why you would do that with the waiter, though.
No,
like I can't even see why you would do that with the waiter. You just have an issue today. Like that's what it all boils down
right?
to.
Well, that happens.
You have an issue today.
That happens.
You mean what kind of drink I want? I said Coke. Sorry, but we have Pepsi.
Right. Dude, I was talking about it in my last live stream last night. I was talking about the Pepsi Coke issue. Mm-hmm. Is like literally, I tell people Pepsi
you don't
products,
really
and they're like, okay, I'll have Sprite. I'm like, Pepsi products. Yeah. They're like, so Sprite? I'm like, Sierra Mist. I literally, it happened again today. Because it happened on Sunday the last time I worked, and it happened again today. I said a chick, said, can't drink Sierra Mist.
But you never see the issue until you're the place that has Pepsi.
Right.
You never see how big.
Well, the last place I worked had Coke,
like
in Ohio.
And see, the place that I work at on the weekends has Coke, so you don't see this issue. Mm-hmm. But when you're the place that has Pepsi, you get all of the faces.
But
like,
here's the thing:
I'd rather have water.
This might be kind of messed up to say, but like the people who are okay with drinking more unhealthily, they're happy. Give me a Mountain Dew. Give me a Dr. Pepper.
Just as long as it's flavored and carbonated.
Yeah,
it's pretty
Crush.
Great. Yeah, but
dude, Crush would be my. Actually, I'm gonna dine in.
But it's so crazy because
tomorrow
not drinking pop, like it makes you kind of look at people crazy. Because I don't drink pop, so I remember I went and I got something to eat once, and I said, you know, give me the meal. I do it all the time. I was like, give me the meal with like no drink, or because if you don't have bottled water, just give it to me with no drink at all.
Right,
and that's fine. And I remember this girl, she breaks out. She was like, well, you could have got a soda. You could have got this. You could have got that. I'm like, no, like, I'm okay. I don't drink all of that. And just like how distraught she was that I didn't drink all of that. It was hilarious. Like, you had to see her face. She was just like, how could you deny yourself carbonation?
Oh, my God. Well, I mean, people get like that with beer at sporting events. Like, what do you mean you don't want a beer? Like,
but I mean, I love beer, so that's.
I like beer too. I like beer too, but there's some times where I'm like, you know, pretty Chicago, but
yeah, of course.
That someone will be trying to give me beer. I'm like, you know what? I'm calling it for like the day. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm still gonna have a productive like end of my Sunday.
Here's the thing,
you know,
the thing with drinking with friends, things like that. It is always best, like I tell people all the time, just know your wall.
That's it. Know
your wall and know when you hit the damn wall. And don't fold. Because if you fold and you take another drink, you know it's over.
That's it. And it only takes one drink.
It only takes one.
Like,
and you're done after that. Now I have to sit here. I gotta.
Well, I try to do the 2-drink rule. That's my thing. I don't do shots anymore. I don't like shots. No. Shots have you. Yeah, you're the fool tonight.
Yeah. You're the fool tonight. You're who we talk about tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's where shots put you. Mm-hmm. I don't do shots. But big tequila drinker. I mix drinks. I do all that. Is I love it. I don't like shots.
Well, the thing is, I'll maybe do a shot for like an occasion. Someone's birthday that.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't. In that position, you can't really turn down the shot. It's not even your occasion to turn down the shot.
Yeah,
I understand. But you're talking about me drinking on my own accord. No, don't. No, we're not taking shots. I said no.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
No.
And
because it's just best. I would rather not wake up just completely out of it.
Yeah, God, it's awful. But the thing is, I did a lot of it for a while.
Oh yeah. If you got any type of history out here drinking, you've had many nights like this.
Yeah. No, I had a guy. Actually, this is a funny story. I haven't said this on my stream at all. I was just thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Is I had a guy storm into my room. It's a really interesting story, actually. And my friend Mike Serino was here. We were watching a movie here, and the fucking power went out. Power goes out in the whole building. So, I think the guy was coming up the stairs. That's the only thing that actually makes sense. But the power goes out, and we go open the door. The emergency lights are on in the hallway, right? Mm-hmm. So everyone comes out. Everyone's like, hey, your power's out too? Me too. Okay. Everyone makes that, like, community, like, okay, yes.
It's not just me.
Well, it's also, like, anyone who's, like, worried. It's like, this is the reality we're all facing. Yep. Power is out. And so we're sitting there, and he's like wondering, oh, should I go home or not? And we it was literally just like 5 minutes later, we left the door open because we were like listening to people talking outside. Mm-hmm. Dude just fucking stumbles in, opens the door, and walks in like he owns the place, just in a fucking suit. And we're like, can we help you? Because we were like sitting on the couch right there. Mm-hmm. He just stumbles in like through the door there. And he's standing like right where the Django poster is, and we're just like, can we help you with anything? And he's just like, yeah, you can get out. I'm like, excuse me? So yeah, you can get out of my apartment. I'm like, this is not your apartment, this is my apartment. And then I was like, instantly, like, I looked inside, so I'm like, you're drunk as hell. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And so the dude like stumbles in. He's like having a hard time standing up, and like I'm kind of helping him like not fall down on my shit. And he's like looking to square up and shit. And he's like, it was just a bunch of dumb like man posturing. Like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, this is not your place. He was just like, every time I told him that he was wrong, he saw it as like an offense. It was just like escalating more, like posturing. And he like went to swing at me and just fell down. And then I just like picked him up and I was like, dude, leave. Like, I was gonna help you out. Like, actually, my friend was getting him some water. We were like trying to like get him. Like, we saw him as like a man in distress.
Yeah.
And he's just like escalating further and further. Eventually, I just grabbed him. Like, he fell down. I just picked him up by his belt and like back of his shirt, and I just tossed him out the fucking room. Locked the door. He just sat there like knocking too.
You Uncle
I had to call. Dude, I had to
you
fucking...
Uncle Phil'd him?
I did. Dude, but he came into my place like he was convinced this was his. And like every time I told him he was wrong, dude, he was like freaking out more. He's like trying to like, there's no way I'm wrong. This is my place. And the funny thing is, I think that... I saw him one more time, and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I thought it was my room. I'm like, dude, just get the fuck away from me. Like, it's even worse sober. Just like, I would have been fine with never seeing you again.
Yeah, like, don't...
Like, the fucking... The Will, actually, that guy. Will, who's here tonight, he was the one who came up, and Will was like, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Will, I got you. You didn't know. Like, Will was really nice about it. He handled the situation. He just didn't know. The dude just stumbled into my place. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're drunk as hell. He ended up being a 1307. So is the 7th. Mm-hmm. He's like...
But you're 3 floors.
3 floors above me. And I assume he was going up the stairs and just stopped.
When he saw the one.
And he was just convinced.
He saw the one. He knew it was his floor.
And he was just ready to fight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. Why the fuck did I just tell that story? Oh, we were talking about... Something about Chicago. The Chicago people.
Drunkenness.
Being drunk in the city.
The drunkenness of the people. Oh, God. Yeah, Chicago's a drunken city.
Well, and we're in downtown right now, which is where the worst of it happens.
Oh, all the time. All the time. You just see people stumble down the street, and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, man. It's, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it'd make more sense to have, like, liquor than tap water in certain places.
Man, really. It probably put people back on what they're supposed to be doing during the day at work.
I'm gonna do a quick water break. You look like you could.
I could use.
You wanna actually grab it so closer to you?
Yeah. I would be the person.
There you are.
There you are, sir.
Yeah, we actually had a bit of a conversation before we got live. Just forgot to get going, I guess.
It's all right.
Just like last night was a pretty interesting podcast night. I was getting into a lot of philosophical things. It's kind of nice to just talk about a little bit of life, man. Tell a story. Here, I'll just sit down over here.
No problem.
But yeah, we were talking about originally being bilingual.
Yes.
And actually, that was one of the things I wanted to give you a lot of credit because honestly, you deserve it. You're a humble guy, but you've learned a language without there being like any other inspiration, passion, whatever, aside from mostly yourself.
Yeah.
You know, learning this. And actually, a lot of people on Twitter call themselves autodidactics. That's like the fancy terminology. But it's when you're someone who's capable of teaching yourself and not having some trigger, something that's making you do it. You just love doing it. And it is like a personality thing. Cause, you know,
I think that has to be a personality thing.
But
you have
it's not
to
for
want
everyone.
to learn. No, it's not.
It's not for everyone. That's the point.
To be honest, it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when you don't have anybody there to automatically correct you. So you still have to go out. I still have to go out. I still have to take what I learned. I still have to use it. And I still have to be able to use it in the setting and in the context that it's supposed to be used in. And that's where it can, like, it's going to be proven whether or not you really want to learn or not.
Exactly.
Because you say it wrong, and even if they kind of understand what you're trying to say, it depends on who you're talking to.
It does.
It big time depends on who you're talking to and what their personality, or really how they feel about you speaking. To be very honest about it depends on how they feel about you speaking, on whether or not they'll correct you or not.
That's
on whether or not they'll allow you to keep using it wrong and let you go on, or whether it's just like, I don't care either way.
Exactly.
It's really that thing. But you know what? When people started seeing I was way more serious than what they thought I was originally. Then that's when people started saying, no, yo voy limpiar. I was like, okay, I got it. Now I get it.
Yo voy limpiar.
You see?
Yep. Yeah.
But, like, you need that.
Yeah, you need to have that.
You need that. And that's the part.
It's like it's keeping you in your lane. That's really what it is.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what? I appreciate it. I always appreciate it. Like I told you last time, the only pride that you need to have if you learn another language or learning anything, it's just the pride not to give up.
Big time.
Well,
and the thing is, it adds to more to be proud of. Like, you're proud of not only, like, your background of, like, speaking English, but also your background of, like, the cultural side of you that learned, like, another language.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that all the time. And
I mean, the side of me that learned, I'm proud of it because it was me.
Because you said you also speak
I'm also going to start learning Portuguese.
Portuguese.
I also want to start learning Portuguese in a few years. I want to, of course, master my Spanish first before I start Portuguese. But, like, that is definitely a goal also, to get a third. And, like,
I've never considered Portuguese, but it's, like, not a bad idea.
Yeah. I like it. I like it because I like the style in which it's spoken.
Not only that, but Brazil itself, people don't really talk about it, but it could be its own, like, little empire.
It is.
I mean, when you look at it,
it's already its
industrial.
Own world.
When I'm talking about it, industrial culturally, it has its own independent culture,
and it's so intriguing, Brazil,
right?
Because
there's so much land there.
It's its own world stuck right in the middle of South America,
right?
And it's like you have all of South America around it, but when you go into Brazil, it's totally different.
And when you know the geography of South America, you realize the whole west side is mountains, the Andes. The east side of it is all the plains, and that's pretty much all Brazil, some Argentina, and on the northern side, Venezuela, where I'm from, is like the edge of the other side of the Andes, and then you have the the coast of the Caribbean. But aside from that, everyone else is on the western side of the Andes Mountains. It's Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and they're all like Inca influence, which is like different than the Aztec, Mayan,
from Mexico.
Yeah, they're the same similar genetic code, but like culturally,
the culture is very different.
As they migrated south for whatever reason. That's another thing. It's like, why were these people traveling these immense distances?
You could ask that about Pangea itself.
Or like, why did we stop?
Yeah.
Or the better question is like, why did there's parts of America that are still completely
uninhabited.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like they have. Not much is going on. I'm sure someone owns it,
In these days and times, people look to own some of everything.
Well, yeah.
But
I'm talking from, like, if you want to look from a libertarian perspective, which is where, online, that's where I see myself. As someone who believes in the idea of civil liberty. I'm horrible with the terminology. I have to, always Wikipedia it. But it's the idea of, John Locke a lot of times said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But there's also property is the last one. To be able to own land, to own things, to be able
because that's so important.
And the thing is, the reason why is because that separates private versus public.
Yeah,
that's the huge thing. So when you look at politics, a lot of times libertarians are like, I won't argue what's out there, the public. Do whatever you want in the public, but whatever I do here is whatever I want to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's why libertarians are a weird bunch of people. Because some people want to be really off the grid, and some people more like me want to be right on the edge.
Yeah. I want to still have my own personal freedoms, but I can...
I mean, there's some libertarians out there who want a tank. They're like, if I want to have a fucking tank,
I'll have a goddamn tank.
I think some of them do it as a joke. A lot of them probably do it as a joke. But there only needs to be like 5.
But there
needs to be like 5 that
yeah,
have
but the
tanks.
thing is, it's still identified as part of your personality. You understand?
That's another thing. Yeah, your upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
the what you're influenced by, and
I think more days, like, if you're looking at times now, it really is, if you're looking at human nature, period, we've always been, like, you go along with who you go along with. Guys like to run with guys, girls will run with girls. You got that. I mean, it's, of course, in these days and times, it's a little bit more mixed. You know, everybody influences some of everybody.
right.
But I think the reason why I just wanted to learn Spanish on my own was just because I told you I heard that quote a long time ago. The smartest man always remembers that he knows nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he knows nothing at all. So he's always seeking to learn, which means he's never really prideful.
Right.
As much as he's...
If you always... Yeah, that's the thing is if you're always learning, you don't have a chance to boast. Because you have that innate humility of literally... It's almost like... It's an innocence.
Shut up.
It's almost like an innocence if you
Yeah.
want to look at it. It's like, I'm going to look at things innocently, but I understand that it's ready to flip.
And as you get older, you have to understand to just curtail when you may want to just talk about some things just because you know about it, because
Right.
you never know, the information you have could be wrong.
That's right.
You understand? The information you have could be wrong. So if you're not even able to just shut the hell up and let somebody say, hey, I understand what you're talking about, but you're a little bit wrong here. Let me kind of guide you right. If you can't even accept that, I don't know how you're going to grow, period, as a person.
I mean, part of my thing is it's like I like being proven wrong on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Not certain things, really, just about anything. Unless it's like Star Wars. How about that? Like those are the lines in the sand I'll draw. I'll like fight over that. Like I have like my like fan theories. But like when it's like life and like the way I'm going about things, it's like if someone's like, dude, why are you eating like that? That's like not good health wise. I'll look into that. I'll be like, oh shit, I didn't know. You know, I'll try that. Like I'm loose about the like most important things. I'm constantly getting feedback from people. It's funny because it's like the things people argue about are the dumbest things. The things that cause like conflict. It's not the important things. Most people are they're fighting the same fight.
Very petty things when you look at it. So I was just like,
But you know what I'm talking about? Like the things that are crazy about life, you know, the random chaos. It's mostly the same. It's treating us all the same way. You know.
Yeah, but that's always going to be the issue, is that
I think that like
out of your bubble, you can't really see what I'm seeing out of my bubble.
No, I get that.
So
I get that.
So we're really fighting over perspective here.
Yep.
Like that's what it usually always comes out to be. You're fighting over perspective. Like I remember, what was that other quote somebody told me? And it put a lot of things kind of in a decent frame. I don't remember what president they told me said it, but he said, if you can convince the next man to feel like he is better than and to look down on the next man, you can pretty much take from them, keep taking from them, because while they're sitting there,
what is it? If you can convince a man
that he's better than another man, it goes something around those lines, or to look down on another man.
LBJ?
No.
Lyndon B. Johnson?
Yeah, I think it was Lyndon B. Johnson.
Is this it?
Yes, this was it.
I don't have it up on the screen. This is what they're seeing on the stream.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just telling you, like, we're looking at it, but they can't see it. So if anything you want to say, or it to be recorded, needs to be said aloud. Oh, here it is.
If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. He'll give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. That is the quote. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that, I didn't just apply that to just along racial lines.
Right.
That goes along human lines.
Completely.
That goes along period human lines. Mm-hmm. If you tell this guy over here, hey, guess what? We think that you're better than him. And he believes
That's
it
the thing,
in his
if
heart.
You tell him and he believes it.
He will do anything he can to make sure he maintains his status quo of being better than you. I don't give a damn if I go further as a person.
Yeah.
But as long as I am better than you.
Think about beauty.
Yeah.
There's like a social network. All right. It's probably not wise to talk about this, but social network of women that they're constantly having a discussion with each other. They're constantly having a political battle going on. And the thing is, they're always telling each other how beautiful they are. And it's like, that's kind of a thing. It's regular, it's like tribute in a way. Men, I don't think, rely on that as much.
I don't know. I think that's a different thing culturally.
Right.
I think that's a big different thing culturally. Because, of course, I'm black. So, it is very much widely known, and it does very much need to be stated, that black women are some of the most disrespected women on the planet, period. So, I very much appreciate when I walk by and I hear, like, another young black woman or another of any age, really. It doesn't matter. And they tell each other, hey, sweetie, you look beautiful. Hey, you look good. Hey, I see you in that dress. That right there is awesome.
I mean,
because it's about bigging each other up.
Yeah,
I need you up here with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't
really hear that very often.
No,
I mean, if I'm just thinking in my head, like, if I heard that, that'd be like cool. Like, I don't know would someone be upset with hearing that? Is that?
I mean, I think everybody still tries to live off these some of these goofy ass roles that still, they still exist. And I don't exist like, oh, you don't tell another man he's. I'm like, look, bro, if that man's suit is killing mine, I got to let him know.
Oh yeah, I just had that the other night.
I gotta let him know.
I was at Barloo, this older dude. He had a feather in his cap. He was dressed to the nines.
He made it happen.
He dressed to the nines, whatever the older expression you want. But he had a cane too. He didn't have a cane because he was having a hard time walking. He just had a cane. It's like, dude, you look good.
Yeah, like it is, dude. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing.
And he's
wrong
just like
in
right
the
on.
world with empowering
he just gave me like
somebody else. I don't understand. I've never understood how people thought that
people like bring each other up.
Empowering somebody else. What could that possibly take away from you?
Nothing at all. Time, focus, attention. But none of that. People think that's important. It's not.
But I'm not even thinking about from time, focus, or attention. Yeah. I'm thinking about from you mentally or emotionally. What could that possibly take from you?
Yeah.
By telling that person, you look good today. That's dope. I like that. Where'd you get that from?
It builds you up.
It does.
That's what it does.
And it's a big reason why, you got to do that with each other.
Hell yeah.
You have to do that with each other. If you're not even willing to do that with each other, like, what real hope do we have?
Right.
What real hope do we have as people, period?
Right.
And I understand. People are tribal by nature.
Right.
Tribal by nature. Like, I don't believe that every person is a racist, but I don't like the way that people socialize because there's a racist backdrop to it.
Yeah.
You understand? There's a very prejudiced backdrop
It's like, it's something that people know, but they don't always acknowledge.
Yeah.
It's like
everybody looks like, and dude, I'm guilty of it. Everybody is guilty of it.
That's another thing about drinking. Because like that stuff kind of fades away when people start drinking in one way or another.
But the thing is,
because I've seen both sides.
I'm talking about
everyone
like
gets too wanting to fight.
A group of guys, like you see a group of white guys, you see one black guy, everybody's just like, where'd he come from? Yeah. Everybody's like, where'd he come from? Like,
well, shit, I get that. I'm like kind of white, but
But see, that also goes along with what we were talking about. Like, I remember you asked me, like, well, how do you think people see you?
Oh, yeah,
because you're bilingual. And it's, like I told you, the dynamic is crazy.
It is.
Because, like, as far as being black, like, born here in America, in Chicago, and teaching myself and practicing with people, it's like, when other black people hear me speak, it's like, automatically like, bro, you ain't black. That brother ain't black. That brother is like Dominican.
That's what happened with the chick in the elevator.
Yeah.
Like, instantly she's like, wait, he's black and he's speaking Spanish to that guy I thought was kind of white?
Yeah.
And we're just like ripping it.
Yeah. Like, we just had like, it was very quick exchange.
I mean, we were just talking about how the
weather outside.
I think it was just how it was cold. Just quick commentary.
But of course, But of course, the accent always when people learn that you're born here in America, you learn how to speak on your own.
Dile algo para que hay algo que escuchan de.
Dijo eso en español.
Sí.
¿Su querés?
Sí, porque yo quiero que oyen que tú puedes hablar conmigo por un momentico, porque mucha de la gente que ve este programa no hablan español. Entonces tú puedes decir lo que quieras acerca de trabajo.
Está bien, claro. Yo me dijo un poco. un poco. Pero tú sabes, mucho de la gente aquí en el mundo, piensan, ok, tú hablas español, pero estás estadounidense, pero tu accent, ¿dónde eres tú?
Yeah.
Todo el tiempo son las preguntas.
Right. And it turns into Spanglish, and that's where it keeps bouncing back and forth.
Yes. But then it depends on, like, if I'm speaking to people who are speaking straight Spanish.
Right.
Like,
and you can tell they're straight Spanish speakers. English is taxing.
But just me knowing how to tell them, no, yo soy estadounidense, like knowing that by itself automatically makes them have to ask, okay, no, like where could you be from? Because estadounidense, of course, is like you would know that if you know, like people outside of North America. When they, piensan acerca de la América, es acerca de la Sudamérica.
Yeah. If you say, where are you from? ¿De dónde eres?
Sí.
And you say America, they're like, oh.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, la Sudamérica.
Yeah, right.
But it's not that.
No.
Like, I'm from North America.
North America.
That's why I try to make sure.
Estadounidense is a person from the United States.
Yes. And you can easily say that. But what I learned was, like, they would prefer. Like some people out from.
Have you seen the acronym they have for? They don't have USA. Like if you see like on Telemundo Mexico playing USA, it won't say USA in Telemundo. Do you know what it'll say?
No.
EEUU. I don't know why it's two E's.
But
it's Estados. Yeah.
Sí, los Estados Unidos.
Los Estados Unidos. Yeah. I don't know why it's EEUU, but it's Estados Unidos.
And
and people don't know that.
No, they don't.
It's like in the language, it's literally completely different.
And people never really understand that. They never. And when people ask me, "Oh, you took classes?" I was like, "No."
Just to know that,
I was like, "No."
Yeah.
I was like,
"Look, I spoke with people.
I've spoken with people." I was like, "There's no way in hell that a lady a lady in the class is going to allow. How could you allow me to speak with this heavily drawn English accent on this Spanish and allow me to go out into the world with that and think that I'm okay?"
Right.
No, that is not okay. And trust me, when you learn speaking with people, they will let you know you will not. Like, you will not, like, speak with that drawn English accent. Like, we understand maybe what you're saying, but you need to learn how to speak better. And they will definitely let you know that.
They will.
And I understand it's their language.
It is, yeah.
It's their language. I would want my language spoken correctly.
Big time. Well, and the thing is, there's a lot of, I think we talked about it before, there's a lot of, like, I don't know, aesthetic in Spanish. It's like, English is much more direct. Like, the I don't know, frequency, the vibration, whatever.
It's very monotone.
It's very monotone. When you stay within a certain range, you don't really start, like, if you start, talking like this.
It's about
talking like this. Like, it's way more.
Of course, any language changes when you add the emotional inflections.
Like, those inflections are
They're always there.
They're always there. If you don't do it, it's weird.
It's a cadence.
It's a cadence. It's much more musical.
It's a cadence spoken with Spanish. Like, and I've been trying to explain that to people for the longest.
There's like always the beat going.
But I think
it's like
I think that's what helped me when I started learning.
Yeah.
Me coming in automatically understanding. This is not English. You cannot attack this as if it's English.
No.
Like, this is not that. Like, you're gonna have to learn how to, and that's why where I developed the accent from.
Yes.
And that's why, like, Latino people always they like. I had a guy tell me one day, he was like, I've been sitting here thinking for like 5 minutes about where you could be from.
Right.
And I can't get it. He
Right.
was like, because of your accent. He was like, I can't get it. I was like, well, that's because I did the accent. I created myself.
It's made in Chicago.
It's a
Chicago hybrid.
Dude, I made this.
Yeah.
I worked on this. I made this.
And that's like how dialects form.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you were to inspire a whole bunch of people to speak Spanish?
That would be dope, but I don't.
But they learn from you. So any of the, like, do you know about Castilian, right?
Yeah, Castellano, sí.
How they have the lisp.
Yeah.
And a very influential king.
Yeah, I know.
Now the entire
now that is the lisp is proper Spanish.
That is so hilarious. Like,
the lisp is proper Spanish.
The lisp is something that, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, you can always just
de vosotros.
Yes, de vosotros. Oh, Castilian Spanish, man. It's
Dude, it's so awkward when you gotta use vosotros.
Or just, I don't ever.
Yeah, I try my. Yeah.
I just don't.
Ellos?
But it's not even that. It's like when I'm speaking with Spanish people and I hear it, I'm just like, I just want to laugh. I just want to laugh.
I just want to go.
I just want to. I don't know. Call it for the way I see it.
I love it because like now I've been learning and speaking for so long now. It's certain stuff. Like I got preferences now, and that's the hilarious part to me. Is to look up and now I have preferences in a language that I've learned.
You're creating the way you want to speak it.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time. Like we had the discussion about hongos and champiñones.
Champiñones.
Like I don't like champiñones. I like hongos or honguitos.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I always thought champiñones is just a cooler word.
Yeah, it is.
And so when you're saying hongos, I thought that's what you're saying. I'm just like, why wouldn't he say champiñones?
But
like in my head, I'm like, that's cooler.
Yeah, but for me,
I thought you were like making a mistake.
No,
well, I wasn't sure what it was because I just didn't hear it properly. And this you said, I was like, okay, he's talking about
we're talking about the same thing. Yeah. It's just I prefer that word.
Like I was trying to correct you, and I didn't realize you're using a word I just don't use.
And the only reason, like you could say,
it's the same thing though.
It's the same thing. But I told you the only reason I like using hongos is because like champiñones is so close to campñones,
right?
And me gustan las deportes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so
it'll
screw me.
Yeah,
it'll screw me a little bit.
The two words are too similar.
They're way too similar for me to keep using.
That's one of the problems. I took Japanese for 3 years in high school, and actually I was conversational for a minute. Like just like I could like introduce myself. That's faded. Like I could go look it up and figure out again for like a week. But it's like unless I have anyone to interact with, it's just not going to stay there. The funny thing is, a lot of people get in the anime community and they keep that going. Like that's another bilingual. There's like a bunch of Americans who like know Japanese through like anime.
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing that we get into.
But you know what? I think it's awesome because
it's totally awesome. Dude, I think Japanese culture is so sick.
I don't care. Look, to be honest, I don't really care what culture that you are exposing yourself to. Just expose yourself.
Well, to me, culture is literally just a story. It's
like
I consider
the story
myself
of these people.
Right. Well, to be a cultured person, people always talk about that. It's like to hear lots of different stories. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
It's like if you only know your own culture, it's like you're cultured, but you'd be more cultured. Well, you'd be more cultured if not only do you know a majority, if not all of yours, but if you knew a lot about everyone else, or like a great experience with someone close, is I try to know as much about world history as I possibly can. Like that's,
I think if you my thing on world history, I think the more you know about it, the more you'll start finding out about perspectives. You'll see different perspectives about things that go on now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a lot of repeating ideas.
It's very much a lot. It's like a cycle constantly.
Yeah.
It's like a cycle constantly. And it never is. It's like if you look at it, things that go on now, things that will probably happen in the future. These cycles will recreate themselves.
Yep.
Because I think one thing that will never ever change is the human condition, like the human emotion, how humans think. Now, the culture, the state of technology,
there's a lot.
There are different X factors that will change around. But there are certain things that do not change within human beings.
Right.
And I think that these things have existed since the beginning of time.
Big time.
You know what I'm saying? You've always heard stories of love and war.
Well, yeah. But romance is a concept. Actually, this is one thing Mackenzie is the girl I spoke with last night. And we're talking about like gender roles and things like that. Yeah. One of the topics I want to get in next with her, so just like a little preview I'll discuss with you, is it's like, where do you see romance really becoming a thing? Because there's love, like stories of love saying how much you love someone, but normally that's a story of sacrifice. Romance is a story of showing affection.
Yeah.
It's a whole different story. And
that's like understanding that intimacy is not just sex, B.
Right. Like, or property.
Because
that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, in the Islamic Golden Age, they wrote about sex. Yeah. They wrote about it, but they did not write about it.
Intimacy.
It wasn't intimate.
No, this was simply like procreation, really.
Mm-hmm.
It was
as far as I know,
procreational activity for them.
I'm sure just putting this on the internet. I'm sure there's some Muslims who would say, no, we're very sensual people. It's like, yeah, maybe you are now, but from what we know of history, you haven't always been.
I don't know. I just know I personally would need to do more digging into it.
Right.
Like, because I can't speak from a sense right now.
Okay. That's fair. No,
and I'll always say that.
Yeah.
I will always tell you,
yeah.
like, dude, if I can't speak from it, I can't speak on it.
Big time.
You know what I'm saying? If I know nothing about it, let me go learn.
Yeah. Well, and that's the point of like having these conversations. That's why actually there's only someone else watching. But like last night we had people talking. It's like people can call you out on stuff. It's like even if you and I agree on something, someone's like, "Nah, that ain't right."
Yeah.
It's like that's the point of like having these going, and we're getting it started. So it's like if there's ever a discussion and we're like not agreeing on something, that's why I want to really get this home in one day.
Yeah, dude, and I think I love that because, dude, you need to be open to learn, dude.
Hell yeah,
dude. Do you never know where you can go? And you're able to spit out some information. You don't even have to know a lot, but be able to know something. Be able to talk about something, and you could probably open up a door for yourself that you weren't even thinking about before.
Your consciousness, your perspective deserves a lot more credit than we normally give it. I'll put it that way.
But I can't expect everybody to walk around with that.
No,
and I don't. And I
really
don't.
It's dangerous to
expect
really,
that.
I'm just saying to like live in that perspective. That's a dangerous place to be. If you're just like always just fucking dusting it off your shoulder.
Yeah,
that's not good.
No, you can't do that.
Can't do that. That's just not.
But like I said, most people I've always had that question. Like, what's wrong that you? What is it taking away from you to go learn something, educate yourself about just something else? You know what I'm saying? When I ask you to write a fucking 10-page paper,
I don't even really consider it.
Huh?
I don't even really consider it. Like, I don't know. I can be that jerk that like if I'm not enjoying myself in a situation, I do whip my phone out. If it like I'll engage with people. Like,
no, I'm not talking about that.
I'm just talking about like lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like when you think about the amount of time you're spending out of your day trying to enrich yourself with more information.
Well, it depends on the culture
because I understand that perspective. A lot of people rip on people for being on their phones. It's like I get it. Like when people on the morning train.
Oh, I feel like that's completely different.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's like when you're not from the city, that's like looked down upon. People like out of cities, they're like, look at all of them, like the pictures and all that. It's definitely used as like a tool. Because it doesn't look good. The optics, if you've like never experienced, it was shocking to me.
Oh, when you walk on a train car and everybody's just like this?
Like, I had to like learn to do that. Because like my first few times on the train, I'm just like, oh, is there somebody I can talk to? It's like, they're a cool story. And everyone's just like,
yes.
I'm like a dog. Like, I got that like dog personality. Like, I got like my tail wagging and everything. I'm like, oh, is someone else like having a good time like me?
That's the cultural difference. The cultural difference, excuse me. From being from the city, and then you being from a smaller town.
That's it.
In a more rural area. No,
like
here in the city,
I just learned to be more cold.
Yeah,
that's
it. You do learn to be cold.
But the thing is, like, I'll run into like a tourist or something. They'll be like, I'll see the desperation on their face. Sometimes they're like, I just want to know which way Jackson Street is. I'm like, Jackson Street's three streets that way. They're like, and then they'll always throw something else in. And if I'm trying to get to the Hilton, I'm like, where? Okay. Right there, that's where that's where you need to be.
Like, eternally, as a person, I think people in LA and New York get this along with people here in Chicago.
We
love tourists, but at the same time, we're just like, yo, dude, like we got somewhere we gotta be.
It's well labeled. Just know which way is north.
Yeah,
like that's the thing is with me is like as long as I know which way is north, I know like which direction I need to go.
Teach me east and
I can
west.
catty corner my way to anywhere.
Teach me east and west and I'm good.
That's what, yeah.
You give me east and west and I'm good. Like, east is always where the lake is here in Chicago.
Yep. That's one of the things I love about Chicago. Is like I know how far east-west I am out by what street.
By what lakes and what streets.
Like when I tell people I'm at Wells goes all the way up north. Wells goes all the way down south.
Yeah. That's like saying, oh, I'm on Western.
Which part of Western?
What the fuck, dude? Like, Western is like that's the longest street in the city. It runs all the way through this city. Like, no, you can't just tell me
that's
Western.
Why you can tell people and be like, I'm at the corner of, Lake and Wells.
Yeah.
It's a very
we know exactly where you are now.
Like, I didn't realize this about Chicago people. I'm still really bad at this. Like, I still need to look at stuff on the map. But I'll know a general direction.
It's like a grid.
Yeah, I know the grid. The thing is, I just don't have experiences of being like other parts of the grid, much less like this smaller part. So I'm not used to going further out. But the thing is, I didn't realize that. Like when you say street corner, people are like instantly there because of how it works.
Yeah,
it's like something you're taught.
Yeah,
it's
especially
crazy.
If you grew up, you're born and raised in the city, you know how that goes. Like it just.
And the thing is, there's so many. Well, this is where I think it's interesting about like the cabs here and like the Ubers, and they're in a tough scenario if you've never driven down here because there's so many one ways.
Yeah.
And if you just don't know the direction, like I've got an idea of the flow of the loop. It's kind of weird. It like goes up at the top and then like filters out and down.
Yeah.
And if you don't realize that that's what it does, it's like constantly, and you have to like know which direction the traffic's going.
That's not even before you get to the viaducts.
Right.
Like driving onto the viaducts and everything. Oh my god.
That gets weird. Where it like splits off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've already made mistakes there.
Oh, you can definitely
telling people where to go.
Mm-hmm. You can get lost up under there.
You can straight up. Well, the funny
lost.
thing is, I was actually walking by the viaducts the other day. I posted on Snapchat. I was like, this would be a great place for an action scene because it's like underneath everything. And
It's
like,
so hidden.
I mean, I felt like I literally could have shot a gun there, and it like would have the sound would have like retained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's just so much concrete around
Yeah.
it.
Like,
Like
it
obviously, people would have heard it, the buildings and stuff. But I'm just saying, like that was such an isolated area where it's like action scene would be amazing there.
And you know what? It's crazy because the people in Chicago, they're so crazy. They probably would have been like, the shooting of the viaducts again.
Right. Well, and the funny thing is, there's a lot of bums near that area too. I'm like, if I was a bum, I would not want to.
One
be
of the
near.
bums got a hold of a gun.
Right. I would not want to be in that area.
That's how I feel. Like
Yeah.
that's my voice for like how I think they talking to the buildings.
when they're trying to rally you up.
Yeah,
And this is what the bums have gotten their way with.
They've gotten their way tonight.
Yeah. Bums had a good time. Everyone else in Chicago did not.
It is so crazy because this city is something crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Reg and I were talking about Just Smollett last time. We were just talking about how it's just like the greased palms in the city is just like it's never. He said that this is like an outlier. This is something this blatant where it was 16 charges or something like that just got taken off.
It's this.
I don't know. We just talked about it, and at the end of the day, we're just like, it goes both ways. It's like it doesn't matter which like politically side. It's just like it's more about money.
I think it's about
more about.
I think it's really
money
situational.
flowing.
I think it's really situational.
Yeah.
I think there are some instances where maybe if you are a person of color and you may have the money, you can probably get off and make it happen.
Yeah.
But then there's some situations that they could be trying to make an example out of you as a person of color where your money won't even matter.
I feel that.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like, we don't care about how much you got. We're looking to make an example out of you. You understand? And that is real. That does happen. Trust me, money ain't gonna always get you off. Like, it depends. Sometimes you could get a judge up on that stand that don't care about what you got.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a name as a judge. So guess what? I'm gonna slam your ass. Like,
yeah.
Guess what, Tom? Guess what, Tom? You know that you're rich and your white privilege was gonna get you through this one.
And it's just not
no.
I'm
here to make a name.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna slam your ass.
Right. And think about how sometimes maybe on that side it's like some people are going. I mean, all the time people get sent away for innocent people get sent away.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stories I've heard, like,
the biggest thing,
and then, like,
the biggest issue
when it becomes a political thing about like a sentencing rate.
Not even just that. One of the biggest issues, period, in this country is the prison industrial complex.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my fucking god!
The drug war in general,
dude.
That for one thing.
I read a headline the other week from I don't even know what state it was, but somebody had posted it. It was like the person, like the privately owned prisons, the people who own the privately owned prisons in that state,
that they were talking about in land. They wanted to be full.
No, they were literally talking about suing the state if they didn't get more prisoners.
Right. I've heard of that,
dude.
Well, because when you look at it from an economic standpoint, it actually makes sense to say that. But when you're looking at it from an ethical, it's like, why? No.
Like, dude.
Like, if you look at it as a robot, it's like,
economical,
more money.
Duh. It makes sense. If my prison isn't full,
I've invested
I don't
in
make
this
the
land.
money.
I want it to be full of people who get me money.
That is understood.
Right.
But from the ethical standpoint of the type of character that you want within the state,
right,
the crime level that you want within the state, and just in the country, period. No, that's a no.
Yeah,
that's a hell. What? No, we don't want to fill up the prison. We want to keep the people out of the damn prison.
Not only that, but as a libertarian, that's one of our things is obviously more civil liberty, being able to do whatever you want without causing damage, etc. That's where it becomes more of a semantic thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's smaller government. It's like the more government there is, the risk of there being more of my freedom, my liberty taken away is higher.
Yeah.
It's always higher the more government there is. And so the more you're investing into it to keep you safe, you're already, I don't know, that's the biggest argument being made. Is just being surrounded by decisions that are made by you paying to something for everyone around you. And that's where the big argument for most people
I think my
goes.
biggest question with that
it's the flow of money. And I ethically, that's the thing. Some people don't even look into that. It's not even part of it's literally just the money. You know?
Some people, that's all it will ever be. And that's pretty
Right.
much all you will ever amount to be.
Right.
When they look at you. You understand?
Yeah.
And you're going to have to understand, like, that's how a lot of people who are big-time capitalists and believe solely in capitalism. Hell, I don't understand why people don't consider damn near capitalism as a religion.
Well,
The way people, people attack it.
Yeah.
Hell. I mean, you got to think about some of the sayings that people have. It's all about a dollar.
Well,
Dude.
honestly, I'm starting to think that Instagram's becoming its own religion, in a way. Like some of these social media sites. I mean,
You know what I don't like? I don't like the term influencer.
Mac was literally talking about that last night.
I don't like that.
I called her an influencer. I was like, hey, so tell them about your influence. She's like, I don't like being called influencer.
I don't like that.
But it's like, what? I don't know. What do you?
What are you
better?
influencing? Most people, they taking the term to influence people to like buy stuff, or like, bro, like you have kind of like sullied the connotation of the word influencer. It could have been something positive, but now I don't like the fact that when I hear the term, it's so negative to me now. I don't like
it's become that.
It's become that, and it could be something. It could be something totally different.
Completely.
You know what I'm saying? You could influence people to look, self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Yep.
You know, you can influence other men to get deeper into their grooming habits.
Right.
Which I think, as far as men go, very much need to understand, like, bro, it's not gay. Go get you a fucking massage. Go get you a fucking facial. Dude, take care of you have skin. Take care of your fucking shit. Because trust me, the way my mother, she explained it to me, when I told her, I was like, I don't want to do all of that. I don't want to learn about all of that. Like, what is that? She was like, oh, well, sweetie, you're going to like girls soon. So, when some chick tells you that she doesn't want to talk to you because your skin looks like shit and you have pimples everywhere, your feelings will be hurt. And that is one of the truest statements she ever gave to me.
Really?
Because, dude, there's nothing like some chick telling you, like, look at that. No. Dude, one of your guys said, you don't care.
Right.
You just talking.
One of the guys.
Crap. Your mom said, you just like, whatever.
Yeah, you get
but some chick
else.
that you like and you actually want to go talk to, she breaks out and she tells you, look at your skin. Look at that. You don't take care of yourself.
Right.
That hurts.
Oh, yeah.
That's a deep cut. So, like, why don't you take what the guys say out of it? Because guess what?
It's not
when
working.
When you go home, you're gonna you want to go home to a woman. You're not gonna want to go home to this guy. You know, that's your friend, but you're not going home to him. You understand?
Yeah.
You ain't going home to him. You're gonna want to go home to your woman. Take care of yourself.
Oh yeah.
And it's also a healthy thing too.
Hell yeah.
It's very healthy. Take care of your skin. Get some of that, those toxins that you know what I'm saying. Go look more into what you eating. You know, no one's saying, hey, go vegan. You live how you want to live. But only thing I do is, like, I always press educating yourself. Educating yourself. Like, I left school because that wasn't the setting that I was best learning in.
Well, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
You understand? Yeah. I learned better teaching myself because I understood how I needed to be taught.
The pace I need to be learning at.
I know how I retain information.
Right.
I know how I'm going to keep this. I know how I want to attack this.
Right.
Don't just give me my whole thing is always don't just give me the information, say you do what you will with it, and then when I fail the test, okay, you're stupid.
Right.
No.
That's
I've always been like that kid. Like, I was that kid in grammar school that was just like, this shit doesn't really show how smart I am. Really. Like that was me. It almost felt like you feel like a cynical child.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day,
you feel like a cynical ass child.
Oh, this is all you guys have?
Not even just that. It's just like. So, I remember they put me on Ritalin when I was very young.
Oh, did they?
When I was young, they put me on Ritalin. I think about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in the range between 8 and 10. Put me on Ritalin. And like, yeah, it slows you down. It slows you down. But like that was because I think they found out I had ADHD at the time, which I really don't even. I kind of don't even classify that as anything. Like, you didn't keep my attention because there was nothing interesting that that made me want to sit down and be like, I want to learn that.
Right. I want to study that. I want to look into it more.
I think that's something we really need to look at as far as the school system just in America.
Big time.
You know, teach them in lower grades, like you talking about.
I tell you, my father's a teacher.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about it.
And
like, remember,
just in elementary school, from like teach them to acquire skills, but also start looking at what they really want to learn.
Right.
Like, it's so crazy for me to look up, and by the time I hit 30, I find out like, okay, you secretly enjoy like learning another language.
Yeah. You
secretly enjoy learning to speak another language and having the ability to be able to speak another language.
Right.
So like so much to the point where like it's a daily. You've made this a daily thing for yourself.
One of the things that we talked about before is like how it like changes the way you structure your thoughts, the way that your perspective and
just the reactions that you have by themselves.
Well, just in the micro, that little interaction we had in the elevator that I mentioned before is there was a chick who's coming into my apartment as Dave was walking in. She was on the phone making herself loud and known, and Dave showed up and we actually got in the elevator together. And she's talking loud on the phone, and then we just commented on the weather calmly and politely in Spanish.
Yeah,
and she was just like
in clear Spanish. Everything stopped.
Like she wasn't talking as quick. She wasn't talking as loud. She wasn't boisterous.
Yeah, she was just more so paying attention to the fact that this just happened.
Oh, this is. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, Peggy.
She just changed, Peggy.
These men are saying things that I didn't expect them to.
Yeah. This is the visual didn't match. The visual didn't match the audio.
The drapes didn't match the curtains.
Well, that's for another. But yeah, that's basically like how you saw she processed it.
She like froze.
The video does not match the audio.
The video does not match the audio.
And it's just like, and you can see.
And because we talk at work in Spanish, we were like nonchalant about it. Just like, yeah, man, it was kind of cold today. It was warm yesterday. Just said that in Spanish, and she's just like, she might have even understood it too. Like, even if you understand Spanish, it's still like. Video doesn't match.
The video doesn't match the audio. And dude, like, it's so funny. It's so funny because this, mind you, this is a daily thing.
Yeah,
this is a daily thing I see every day.
Right.
There's nothing like seeing somebody's face go like.
Right. Yeah. Well, dude, like, I love giving my like corny English like. Pitch like, hey, my name's Mike. I'll be taking care of you. I do it in the same drony way every time.
Then skip over to the next table to speak Spanish. Bienvenido.
But the thing is, as soon as I hear them like M-E and and then I'm just like, prefieres español, and they're just instantly like, dude, let's go. Dude, they're just like,
dude, it is hilarious, dude.
There's like some of them are just like game on.
Like you see you see them with the menu, and they're just like
they like put the menu down.
But this give me a Corona. But this is how I always know. It's just like. I'd be like, where are you from? I'm from Mexico. We're from Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Está bien. Te hablas español. Te hablas español. Habla español conmigo. And they're just like, oh my God, yes.
Oh, that's even a better way to say it. Like, just tell them, speak Spanish with me.
Yeah.
Because they're from Mexico.
Sí.
Yeah. I don't know. I've like never done that because I feel like There's sometimes Mexicans who don't speak Spanish.
You know what I had to learn? I had to learn that everybody does not want to do that.
To speak in Spanish in a restaurant?
Sometimes there are people who come like, yes, I clearly do speak Spanish. You hear my accent, you hear how heavy it is, but I do not prefer to speak Spanish right now. I would rather speak, because you never know. There are people out there just like me.
They want to practice their English.
They would want to practice their English.
Well, that's how when I went to Bogota, I spoke Spanish with my family.
Yeah.
And strangers. But with my cousin and his friends, the people that are actually my age, they all want to speak English with me.
Speak English.
Like the people who are older than me and younger than me, like I spoke Spanish with. But right my age, always English. They wanted to like hear the way I spoke English from the United States.
Yeah. And it's...
That's their knowledge. They're trying to learn.
That's what we're talking about. The fight for perspective.
That's what it
is. Like from our perspective, hell, you want to speak Spanish with us, but we want to speak English with you because we want to learn.
We want to be a part of what you have.
We want to be a part of what you have, and you want to be a part of what we have.
That's
you understand? And it's just like it's something. It's something crazy. But I love it.
Well, that's where all conflict comes from.
Yeah,
it's like.
The fight over perspective.
But the thing is, it's like that's where like mercantilism, like trading, and it's like, well, how much of what I got is worth how much of what you got?
Yeah.
And then that's what people are always like, well, no. I don't even like what you have anymore. But it's like, oh shit, that's all we make.
But I love the exchange of culture.
Oh yeah.
I love the exchange of culture. It's so dope.
The problem is some people sell it out too badly. For so long.
But you remember,
and now they're trying to swing it. Or go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
You remember what I told you?
Yeah.
About when you told me about how you had the friends who said, "Hey, teach me Spanish for the night, just so you can go."
Yes.
And get you a Latino woman for the night, and then that's it.
That's normally a joke, but yeah. But it's said. No, it's said, and then there's no follow up.
But this is the thing. I don't like the idea of it. Because
I'm not with the idea.
Like
either.
I'm not with the idea of it because I'm like, okay, you want to learn this for the night, and like,
well, and if you do want to learn from a woman, learn it from her, not from me.
It's not even that. It's the fact that you're boiling this down, this language, this culture. You're boiling this down
as a way of hooking up.
It's a means to meet an end.
Yeah.
And that part I don't like.
That's true.
Because once you get what you want,
tactical advantage.
It's not even so much the fact that it's a tactical advantage. It's the fact that you'll throw it away after it's done.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you there. It's not part of your lifestyle.
It's not part of your lifestyle. It's something that you want to experience for the night. So now I want to learn how to say this.
It's like I want a bare bones experience to last me. Yeah.
It's not even just, dude, this is where I boil it. You want this for just this night, and then as soon as this experience is done, in the morning, you're done.
Right.
It doesn't even mean anything to you no more. It'll be just a funny story for you to go tell.
Right.
Let me tell you about screwed this Latina chick and I learned some Spanish. Bro, no. For guys like me who's actually out here learning, and I ain't learning to try to pick up a woman. I actually enjoy learning the language. Well, it's because
it opens up more doors for me than just what you're looking for.
Yeah. I appreciate it 10 times more than what you're looking for.
Right.
You understand?
Speaking of which, I have an artist after the show put on. Joe Arroyo. I think you'll really appreciate his music is just a reminder for later. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the fight for perspective point is huge. That's I don't know. It's like the fight for perspective, fight for attention. It's like whichever way you want to look at it, it's constantly.
I think attention is a little bit different.
Attention's another thing.
I think attention is a little bit different because I think
that's more of a marketing thing. Like,
if you are fighting for attention, what actually happens in real life is you end up getting the attention that you want or more, and then you don't want it anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you don't want that attention no more because it's not what you thought that you signed up for this, but this is what you really got.
Right.
You understand? You got this, but now you got to deal with this too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think...
And understanding that and living with it.
And it's the living with the fact that you signed up for this too, you're going to get this too, is now where people have the problem. And you know what the bigger issue I think now is? People think that they can pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. If you chose and you said that you wanted fame, that's what you wanted, and then you got it, you can't say, well, just stop... Tell the paparazzi stay from outside my house. No, that doesn't happen. That's not going to happen.
I mean, it's part of
it's part of what you signed up for.
Right.
So I think an advantage that I think I have had.
I wasn't talking about to that level. I meant more like on a smaller scale.
On a smaller scale.
But no,
like,
it applies in both ways. That's why I didn't want to stop
ways.
you. My perspective was more the smaller attention than the larger. But the larger is huge too. One of the things I was talking with Mac about, you're talking about influencers, is my goal of whatever this influencer content creator was, like the other term we were putting out there, is it's more about dialogue. It's like about engaging with the people you're influencing. They're influencing you back. It's like a hybridization exchange.
Yeah.
Like all the people we know at work. Like we speak Spanish together, but also we speak in Spanish to all them too.
To everybody too.
And it's actually more them than either of us. We're both like, I'm a Colombian speaking Mexican Spanish. Yeah. You're,
I'm a black person.
You're a black person speaking Spanish.
Speaking a mixed dialect.
And the thing is, they're so warm to you about it. Which that's one thing we didn't talk about at all too. Is they're great people, funny, hilarious. Will totally mess with you all day.
Yeah, but I mean, they had to take their
people.
time with it too, though.
Oh, I'm sure
They had to take their time with it too.
I'm
though.
sure.
Like,
I'm just saying where it's at now.
Oh, big time!
Like it's in a
there's
good spot
nothing
for
but
you now.
love in
Hell
that place. When I walk in that place, like I walk in, I see all the cooks, I see anybody, and it's just like as soon as I walk in the door, it's like an automatic like brain switch. Like I'm speaking Spanish most of the time.
Yep.
Like it is just, I love it. I enjoy it.
And like it's literally like you put yourself. It's like a new brain you're putting on. It's like I'm thinking, I'm looking from a new perspective.
It's an automatic switch.
Yep.
It's an automatic switch, and then I appreciate it, dude, because nobody really, unless you speak two languages, like or multiple languages, you don't understand like that switch.
But
switch, like that's just like
it's
crazy.
It's
really crazy to try to describe.
Yeah.
With words, it's really crazy. Man, dude, I can't really. And you sit there, you speak English with this person, and somebody could just walk by. They couldn't even be speaking to you. They could just be speaking
and the thing
in
is,
Spanish.
If you hear like one of them saying like something awful, which happens too, like "Hijo de puta," like I'm like you can't help but just like, even if you're thinking in English, you'd be like, "Oh, I know what that means."
You said, what did one lady said I was working with? She's like, "Ya vi la novia de mi hijo." Pinche estúpida. I was like,
a table or someone working?
This was like somebody walking by, and I was
in
just
the
like,
restaurant?
No, you know who I think it was? It was Paola. It was Paola.
She said that at work?
Yes, I think we were rolling silverware. And she was talking about how she
mi
met...
hermana?
No. Oh. De la hijo. La novia de la hijo. And she's like...
That's her son's girlfriend. Son's girlfriend.
And she's like, sí, ya conoce la pinche estúpida. Dude, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's so damn funny. And it's like when you're in the middle of just like speaking with someone else and you hear that type of stuff.
That. Well, because there's so much emotion brought with it.
Yeah.
It like kind of supersedes what you're hearing in English.
But what is really funny is like when it's like low key. Like really low key and like you hear it, dude.
Yeah, that's even better.
Like I was on
when
the
you
train,
still pick it up.
I was on the train talking with somebody and I just hear this dude get off the phone like, "Oh, sí, un momento. ¿Qué clase de mierda?" Like, and you hear it like I'm speaking to this person, I hear it, I'm just like.
And the thing is, some people probably don't even pick up that you picked it up. You're just like
I just kept it. Yeah,
you just like keep it in.
Yeah, like this dude.
They're gonna think they got away with it too. It's even funnier. You're just sitting there like,
and I'm just sitting here cracking up. This is the guy that thinks I'm cracking up at what he's telling me, but I'm cracking up because I just heard this dude get off the phone. And he's like, what kind of shit?
The guy's listening to you
he doesn't even realize like I just picked this up and like this is hilarious too.
That's right. In Spanish and English now.
Like this is hilarious too. Like I love it.
That's the best.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It is.
And I'm very happy it was something I gave myself.
The other interesting angle is there's a group of white people at work who they have their own exclusive language.
Yeah.
They all speak in Macedonia and Serbia.
Yeah, they're from Macedonia, Serbia.
And the funny thing is, a couple of them actually speak a good bit of Spanish just because of working with...
Yeah, just because from working with
Tanya,
us.
I don't understand. She gets a bit... She's shaky sometimes. Sneze gets it. That's who I was going to follow it up with, because Sneze, she gets it.
Sneze, dude, I've had Sneze just come up and she just speaks Spanish with me. And it's such a crazy sight to see.
I know.
From anybody like who does not work there.
She does it
like to just be walking.
She doesn't do it all the time, but she doesn't speak Spanish all the time.
No.
But when she does, it's confident and
she knows what she's saying.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Short, sweet, to the point.
And that's why I said I kind of fell in love with our staff over there, dude. Because it's such like that restaurant, I think in the whole company has to be the most diverse because of everybody who's able to speak more than one language.
Right.
And it's so dope when you really go.
Well, the funny thing is I haven't asked him this yet. And actually, you just sparked the question in me. Is Dave Lanier was the first guy who... Well, I was considering working at Giordano's, but he was the one... He said, try the Jackson Street location. I think they'll be hiring. Because he had just worked there, right?
Yeah.
So he recommended it. I'm like, I wonder, because I told him I spoke Spanish. So I'm wondering if that's part of the reason why he said that. He's like, well, no Spanish speaker. You think to go there?
Yeah.
I haven't asked him. I'm gonna have to ask him that next time I see him.
Ask him. I think his answer probably would be yeah.
Yeah, or I could totally see him being like, actually, I didn't think of it. I just thought you'd get along. You know, it could just be that too. But I don't know. Either way,
but like when you enter,
it's such a cool group of people
for real. And the thing is, I think if you knew and entering, like that's such a crazy thing to see,
right?
Like it's so many different people here who work here who speak so many different languages and so many different cultures that are in there. It's just like. Yeah, most workplaces are like that. But the way we embrace it amongst each other, I think, is a little bit different.
Right. Yeah, that's totally for sure. I mean, it's like you said, so many different walks of life. Like, I think one of the best is like Yuba.
Yeah,
because the funny thing is where I was working for the longest amount of time serving. There's like several women about her age working. I'm used to that. And the thing is to only have Yuba here, and she doesn't take shit from nobody. Oh, no. She's from Serbia, right?
I don't know. She either Serbia or Macedonia.
I think she's Serbian because I know Marco's Serbian.
Oh yeah, big
and time. I think I remember her saying I'm the same nationality as Marco.
Okay, so then she would be Serbian.
I don't think I've ever heard her say I'm Serbian because she says she speaks Serbian and Macedonian. So
she speaks German.
And she speaks German.
So she's polylingual.
That's the thing is like her English is very like kind of. I think sometimes timid, but you can see by her action, she's like always moving.
Yeah.
She'll be like barely speaking English, but she's like, I just need this. And she'll like follow up with words after she's already doing something.
But I enjoy Luba.
And I get her. She's not to say her communication's bad. It's just like sometimes she's just busy doing.
I still remember Luba's face when Luba
very nice
speaks Spanish, and then she asked me about it.
Yes.
And then she asked me about it. She gave me like the funniest face, like the reaction. She was just like, oh, so where did you learn how to speak Spanish? She was like, did you take classes? I was like, no. I pretty much teach myself.
Right.
Like how, like the words and how to use them. And then I go practice with the people that I work with.
Right.
To perfect my Spanish. And she was just like, what? Like, she was like,
she gets it.
Yeah.
She speaks multiple languages herself. Yeah. She's like, you're doing what I do just because you want to.
Yeah. And and I tell people all the time that's the biggest part.
And she'll understand people. She'll understand the significance too.
And that's the biggest part that gets people. It's not so much how you're learning, even though that's unorthodox. You know what I'm saying? I think
I was born into it. I got that.
Like I think it's so unorthodox how I've learned.
Right.
Like that gets people, but. Them asking like, well, why did you do that? Them thinking like I had to do it out of a form of necessity or something like that.
Right.
Now just tell them like, no, I wanted to do it,
and I enjoy it, and I
still thoroughly enjoy it.
I'm still doing it.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm still learning, dude. I never.
Well, shit, I still try to add words to my English vocabulary.
My thing is this,
there's no language.
I don't think there's any language that exists that you will fully know. Your whole life, I think you'll be learning that language your whole life. There will always be new words.
Right.
There will always be older words that you don't know.
And the meaning of words changes and symbols
all the time.
It's always,
especially in Spanish. Context is so big. It's so big. It's like the number one thing in speaking. I think any language. Your context.
True. Yeah.
It's all about your context. But
that's where art comes into play. Art shows context for thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's one thing I've talked to a lot of people about. Is like one thing about the Spanish culture itself. If you want to tie like a lot of the Latin American music to the Spanish language, that culturally is a huge bond. Like all over the world, like people know like Shakira.
Yeah.
You know, she's like international, like Spanish language ambassador. You know, there's, and the thing is, there's a distinct sound. Like people know, like if you want to talk about like the idea of a meme, like Latin American music is like its own meme. It's its own idea. It's its own like cultural influence that is stronger than like it's its own like national identity for like all Spanish speakers. And the thing is, when I say like national identity, national people think of countries, but it used to be like more of a cultural thing when you look at the etymology of the word. That it was the people, like actually the movie, the latest Thor, how they lose Asgard. It's like Asgard. They say Asgard isn't the land.
Not the land. It's the people.
It's the people. It's like that same concept. And so like you have this pride in the Spanish language of like whenever you hear like the Latin American music, it's like because I know how to learn the language, it's like I have the key to be able to see the beauty in this music.
It unlocked the culture.
Right. That's the way I want to look at it.
Yeah.
It's like this is happening all over the world. It's like the moment you can open that, like Spanish is all over the world too.
Yeah. Second most used language in the world.
If you can learn English and Spanish, you're just like you have the two
can
biggest foundations.
You can go where you want to go.
Pretty much. There's somewhere
somewhere who speaks one of the two.
And that was one of the things I realized when, like I said, my cousin, they're clamoring to like practice their English. I say clamoring actually in a like complimentary way. Like they weren't gonna let me practice my Spanish. They're like, dude, we already know you speak it. Like we want to be conversational. Like my cousin moved to Miami.
Yeah.
And like now he speaks English and he like works in the United States.
And for him, from his perspective,
I'm not saying he learned English because of me, but he wanted to practice while I was in town. No, it's part of that motivation he has.
What I'm pointing to is it always goes back to what we're talking to, that fight on perspective.
That's it.
From his perspective, I mean, you talk to your average American person, you tell them that I'm coming from another country.
Right.
I just trying to get my foot in the door. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to learn the language. For them, they're just like, oh, same old immigrant story.
Right.
But for him,
yes,
it is everything.
He is having the time of his life.
It's not even just dude. This is something so new for him.
Yeah.
That this will
I enjoyed
change him.
doing Chicago too.
You understand?
Same idea. Yeah. Well, just having something completely new that it makes you pick up on things more.
It makes you grow.
Puts
you in a position where you don't have a choice but to grow.
It's more of a fight for survival.
Even still, you taking that choice and going from what you knew was already in Venezuela, what you already knew was in your home country, and saying, "Look, I'm making the choice to go fight to survive real quick."
Well, right.
Instead of living comfortably.
Yep.
Now you're about to have a paradigm shift. You understand? Which is the biggest thing I feel like in human nature that will help anybody.
Big time.
You need paradigm shifts. You need to see and be uncomfortable in a way where you got to look at it like, I can't attack this like I used to.
Right.
You need.
Well, it's not that. What was available isn't available anymore.
Exactly.
So whether it's physically, whether it's like political based off your age, it's like that doesn't matter. You're not friends with that person anymore.
Just taking out the options.
There's so many options that can change, but that can also happen on the good side too.
Yeah.
It's like just because certain things that weren't available aren't available now, new things that weren't available then are available to you now.
Do you remember when I told you I went down south?
Yeah, you're good.
I told you I went down south, and of course, being from Chicago, we move. We're moving. We're moving. Right. But when you go down south, that's a completely different culture.
Completely different.
So now we're slowed down, and it doesn't matter how fast you move. It's gonna happen when it happens.
It happens when it happens.
It happens in our time here down here.
Yep.
And just that right there, now you're taking away the option of me moving faster and getting it done faster. I have to work at its time, not my time.
Right.
You never really understand how peaceful those moments really are until hindsight's 20/20, of course.
Well, yeah.
So you look back on those moments, you're like, damn, dude, that was really peaceful when you look back on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really peaceful. Why did I not appreciate that time when I had it? You understand?
Yeah.
And it's then you have that paradigm shift where now you understand, you know what I'm saying, the value of going fast, but also the value of completely slowing it down. And to like,
well, the thing is, ultimately, you have to slow down.
Ultimately, you will slow down.
Does. And that's I think what a lot of like art and stories are. It's a lot of times it's the idea of a kid trying to be adult too fast, or someone trying to be a kid too long.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at villains or heroes are the kids who become adults too quickly, and villains are the ones who try to stay kids for too long.
Staying children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a major archetypal battle that it's always. I don't know if people like
that plays out in real life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's archetypal. That's Carl Jung says that like there's certain battles that are being fought like at different times, sometimes at the same time through different people, but it's like the same archetype. Where you know the circumstances are different, but it's the same like moral conundrum.
Yeah.
You know,
one thing I've definitely noticed, of course, you know, not having so much of a background that is really like, how do I want to put it? I believe the old term is like, you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Like,
oh no, I get you.
You've had to struggle out here.
Oh yeah, no,
so
I get that.
When you come from a perspective like that, and then you go meet somebody who's just like, well, why can't I have it? I feel I deserve it.
Right.
Those two personality archetypes, dude.
I just saw something today, actually. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name's Tim Pool. He's actually pretty popular recently. He was just on Joe Rogan. And he was the one who was grilling the Twitter CEO about censorship. But he just did a video today where apparently there's this girl in California where she got her Instagram deleted. She had like 100,000 followers, and she's like 21, and that's how she was making all her money to get by in California, which, you know, the cost of living there is high,
very high.
And she like had a video meltdown, and she was like, "I just can't afford to live anymore," just completely like lost it. And she's like, "I realized I'm useless." She's like, and she just said that like on like she went live on it on Instagram and said that, and he's like. The weird thing, Tim Pool like does his perspective too, and he's like, I don't know what's worse, like the fact that this is a reality or the fact that this girl is going through it, and like this is where she's like, I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna go to social media and say what's wrong, you know,
because you can't keep it in, but you don't want to physically voice it outside of social media.
No.
I've been. People, it's so crazy when people look at you crazy because you're not like. It's like, oh, well, what's your social media? I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like, it's not my feed. Like I tell you all the time, my feed is informational. I see a lot of good stuff that makes me smile. I keep I keep the Savoy Show on there.
The what?
The Savoy Show. The Savoy Show is someone that I follow. And he posts a lot of things that happen around the country as far as like really screwed up stuff that happens that you may not know about that may be going on. Like, yes, it's a voice show on Instagram, and so I keep that around just to keep myself abreast, of things that happen, around that you don't hear about all the time, and. I believe that's very much it's about keeping it in perspective,
right?
Keeping a good balance on my feed. Like I got a lot of positivity, but I also got this here to let you know it's not all sweet out here,
right?
So I think that if you have a feed like that, it's pretty much it keeps you a balance. You get to laugh, you get to gain some information,
right?
And then you get to see like, okay, this is something that you need to see.
Yeah, this is what's out there. Well, that's one of the things we're talking about in general is us as servers. Is that it's being a good server is about being able to slow down in the chaos, being able to slow it down, figure out what's
in the chaos, and
working
effectively,
being productive while in the chaos. But I think part of that is like the capability of like the chaos always wants to speed you up when there's just things not being where they should be, all the unexpected. Because like we can be busy and I'm not chaotic. There's times where like I've had Lily and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
And we're fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like there's a table getting ready to get set. My section's full, but I'm good.
But I think that's also because we learn to work in a rhythm so much.
Well, and also, like, I've had one, just Sunday, we didn't have a dishwasher in the morning. That was chaos on chaos.
Yeah.
And we had, were you working Sunday, right?
No.
Okay.
They definitely told me.
Yeah, dude. There's 2 parties that start off the morning, 11 at open and 11:15. And the dishwasher wasn't there for open. So they didn't open the dish tank. And then it just piled up from all, it was 80 and 56? I don't even remember. I remember one, it was at least 130 people, I'll put it that way.
Jesus, dude.
And like Shane, the funny thing is I felt bad because Shane made a joke to me the other day. That was actually hilarious. So he zinked me, but I got him back. I was like, "Hey Shane, looks like," because there was no dishwasher. I'm like, "Shane, looks like you're gonna be washing dishes." And I just meant that as a joke because I don't know.
And he's like, "Yeah."
But the thing is, it's like 10 minutes later he ended up washing dishes.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Well, I felt like a dick. I was like, "Oh shit!" I called it out. Like I literally meant that as a joke. But
I mean, he's the manager. You got to do it.
Yeah.
That's just one of those. Yeah, it's one of them things.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, dude. Like you're like, oh, I gotta do this.
But that shift was rough.
They told me
it literally got to the point we took every bus tank we had, and we had them full on the ground. Where literally I was shuffling through like 1.5 foot worth of space through
the bus tubs.
No. I'm not saying the bus tubs. They had it.
They're on the floor.
Out on the floor where we're carrying food. Right around where the window is. Because apparently there's stuff happening back there that they couldn't take it to the bus tank. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if the dishwasher is not here and like they got all this they got to get through,
it was
just so long as not where any prep stuff is. That's good.
Well, Damien, who's been training in the pizza, he had to jump over to the dish tank, and he pretty much did that for the rest of his shift. So they're like down a man, but he was like,
"Yeah, might as well. You got to pay me."
We needed it, yeah. They needed it. It was crazy. Anyway, but the whole point of that is it got really chaotic. We literally, the point of chaos is the idea of things not being where they're supposed to be. There was a ton of shit not where it was supposed to be. Like, we were busy for one thing, and I'm like shuffling around trying not to fall down. Like, that was
the things we go through.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, the whole time I was just like trying to stay like humble about it, not like complain, but towards the end, they're like, "How you doing?" I'm like, a little pissed off, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Because, I mean, dude, by the end of our shift, we're so honest as people.
That's the
like,
thing.
Because we don't
you start off the shift just like, the world is awesome, I love this.
Let's make money, let's be positive.
Let's get
and then
out
by
of
the
here.
end of dealing...
Done.
And I don't think a lot of people understand about people in the service industry. We're awesome people. We got awesome personalities. But we learn to dislike people. Like, we learned to end up disliking people, dude, because, dude,
yeah,
you just, oh my god.
The joke I always make is that I hate people. There's people I love.
Yes,
that's the way I look at it. It's like,
yes,
until you are someone I like know, I will respect you, but I won't like you.
Yeah, I don't like you.
I don't like you at all. I will respect you, but liking me is not implied with. Because that's one of the weird things I know about Chicago. There's people that will walk up to you, like, assuming you already like them. Like, "Hey, man, that's really cool sweater you got there." And they'll, like, size you up like all I do. I'm like, "Hey, man, you better get out of my way real quick."
Yeah. Oh, you're learning. You're learning.
Oh, no. I've been like that for a while. Like, that's never been a part of me.
What the fuck you doing?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Trust me.
And they get up in your airspace, too.
Dude. Man.
That's something that's across the board, I'll tell you that.
That's why you have to learn to get that mug in this city. Like,
like
you shoot them that look, and then all of a sudden, you know what? I'm not gonna ask you about anything.
I don't know. I mean, I played football. I wrestled. Like, I've always been about like I don't try to start a fight. I'm not gonna win a fight.
You know what I don't.
But you gotta like know that there is the idea of a fight.
Yeah, dude. You know what
it's always there. It's always there.
You know what I don't like. I don't like the guys who want to get loud.
Yeah.
Because you're used to dealing with people who are not going to confront what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get a hold of like guys who be like, "Oh, well, what you talking about?" Because you just said all of that. I assume that this is what you're asking for. And then all of a sudden it becomes, "No, man, I think you just overreact." No, I think you thought that I was going to just let that go.
Right.
And I think a lot of people need to understand. There are a shitload of people out here who are not taking that.
No. Hell no.
They are not taking that. And just because you get away with this, maybe in some of your most comfortable settings in your life, do not ever forget there are a lot of people out here who just ain't taking that shit.
Not at all.
You understand? And I think they really tend to forget that.
Right.
And you really see that in the service industry when you're working. Mm-hmm. People forget that, oh, I'm a person too.
That's what I thought you were going to say. I was hoping. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. How about you not go past a certain point?
Oh, dude. I made $30 off this table, so I can't really complain. But it was at one of my last tables of the night, Saturday night. But there are some women, they were pretty drunk. And they were like openly talking about some really sexual things. And I mean, I'll just tell you, I wasn't feeling it at all. And I'm sitting there like, I want you to tip me, but I'm not going to let you be completely overtly sexual.
Yeah.
You know? And they're just going by. And honestly, I'm surprised. Like, they were one of the last tables in the restaurant. They're like the only people there. I'm surprised Lillian didn't say something. Because she was sitting right there. I sat down, because they're at 35. I sat down like 36, 37 in that area. And like, I was sitting there on my phone because I had all my done. I was like ready to go. I'm just sitting there waiting to get their checks. And so I'm sitting there on my phone. She's like, maybe you shouldn't be on your phone. I'm like, maybe you should be listening to like what I'm listening in on. Like, I'm making sure these women aren't like running off with their check. Like, I'm sitting right here just to make sure you're not trying to dine dash. Because like the one chick, she's just like, oh, just like giggling, falling over and stuff. I'm like, I'm not letting them just... They couldn't even figure out how to close... You know, the door, it has the little push?
Yeah.
When they finally did pay and it was time to leave, they literally were sitting at the door and they came back to like, I think the door's locked. And I just walked over and just pushed the bar. All 6 of them couldn't figure out how to get out the door. And I'm just like, first off, that's completely sexual harassment. Like, if I wanted to like get litigious, I never would. But that's it right there.
Yeah.
That's it right there. I don't know how often that happens to you. Just happened to me within this last week.
Dude.
You know, I don't care, but maybe I should. I don't know.
The pettiness.
To me, it's too petty to get into.
Yeah.
But it's like, if the shoe's on the other foot, what the hell would happen, you know?
Yeah. You would have instantly reported.
Well, yeah. And if that was a man to a woman, you know.
I think people...
Unless they're buying that.
Well, you know what?
Unless they're buying what's getting sold.
You know what? There are...
I don't know. I don't even know why I got into it, I'll be honest with you.
There are privileges, I think, for some of every person. Like, I think women have certain privilege to be able to sit in public spaces and talk sexually however they want to, as opposed to a man being able to do it, because as a dude, you look like a straight fucking creep.
Right.
Like, and if it's a pack of you look like a bunch of fucking assholes.
That's a bunch of like jackals.
Like, you all are all jokes.
Right.
So that's a double-edged sword with that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's something that's definitely I'm not gonna argue that to a point at all.
Like, but it can also flip the same way. You know, like, you can have a bunch of women sitting there talking, you know, heavily sexually, and then you say, okay, this is pretty dirty, and you say, and what happens when they hit you with, sweetie, I'm owning my sexuality. At that point, what do you say?
That's when I would come back with a joke. I would hope that I'd have something in the moment, just like, girl, own it, I guess. Like, that's just what I'd say.
These are all things you got to look at.
Do it, like,
you know, you got to look at it. And if she said that, I really can't even argue with it, because, I mean...
Well, the way I look at it is like, I have a little sister, and I'm like... you talk about fighting for perspective. She adds perspective to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't... I mean, she's 17. I can't, like, go any further than she is. I'll put it that way. Like in my mind, it's like, I don't want to be surrounding her with ideas that are, you know...
shitty.
Right. You know?
Just say what it is.
Shitty ideas.
Shitty ideas. And then, like... I understand, like...
I'm also the oldest of all my cousins. It's not just her, too. It's like, I have younger cousins than that.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to keep a lifestyle.
You got to make sure that they understand certain things.
Right.
And, dude, to be honest, I do... If a woman hits me with...
Oh, yeah.
We own our sexuality. I can't even really
That's
say
why I was
nothing.
talking about it.
I can't even really say anything because, bro, we have seen pictures of governments having meetings about women's rights with not one woman in the room.
Well, yeah.
Like, so, yeah, like, I have nothing to say about somebody, a woman who says, I'm owning my sexuality, you have no say so.
That's true.
By all means.
I'm with it. That's where it's a cultural thing.
I mean, but I think that even just the idea of having that perspective is different for a lot of dudes because it's never gone into like the societal archetype for how we're supposed to handle this or how this is supposed to be looked at. No, you should be wearing this. You can't do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, oh, well, she got raped because she was wearing a short skirt. No, bro, she got raped because the motherfucker couldn't control herself. Right. And like, you did what you did. Yep. That's why she got raped. She can wear she can be sitting there ass naked. That don't mean
no. I'm with you there.
Rape.
I'm with you there.
So it's certain things.
Well, here's the one
that
thing.
Gotta change.
Here's the one thing about that is it's like when you have those girls who are wearing the stuff, the provocative, what we can agree is provocative stuff. It's not a matter of like putting blame on them. The blame is squarely with the attackers.
I think
squarely with
you know what I think. I think if you think correctly, and you think ethically, and you really understand what you're looking at, yes, the blame is always on the rapist. Always. It's always going to be on the rapist.
Blame is completely on the rapist.
It'll always be. But the thing is when you meet guys who like, well, she shouldn't be wearing that.
That's what I was going to get into next. Is
the biggest issue.
There's no shame there. There's honor.
That is continuously
no respect.
The biggest issue.
Yes,
that's continuously the biggest issue, and the reason why it's the biggest issue is because I can sit here and we can tell, dude, let's talk about it. Like, we'll all sit here and talk. Like, if that's what you did, dog, we're not gonna be your friend. We ain't friends.
No,
but not at all. You have a surplus of dudes out there that turn a blind eye.
Yeah, that's.
I think if we guys and you told me you did this, we got issues.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got big issues. But you got a multitude of fucking dudes out there who will fucking just be like, yeah, I heard he did it, but I don't really know, so I can't. I mean, what am I gonna do? Turn my back on my friend? Bro, you need to at least question him about the incident. You need to at least see where his head is, because you may be surprised about the perspective that he actually thinks from.
Right.
And dude, I think people need to dig more into stuff like that. Like, dig into the people that you're around. Like, how do they think? Like, what do you think about some of that stuff?
Yeah.
And you'll find out, like, some of them people just don't hold the same mindsets.
Right.
It's just certain stuff I don't talk about with people, just because they just have shitty mindsets. And for them, their excuse is that this is the way it's always been. I don't like those people the most.
I don't like the way it's been?
The people who say, well, this is the way it's always been.
Oh, they're saying this is the way it's always been, so screw
because you're using this as an excuse to keep this like
that's
this.
When people are saying, I have no stake in this. Like, I'm a part of it, it's shitty, and there's nothing I can do about it. That,
I believe that's twofold. You have that, and then you have those who say, well, this is the way it is, because secretly you do benefit from it being the way it is.
Well, yeah,
so you have a status quo on your own to keep, as far as this not changing, because I benefit.
Right.
You understand? So if this,
I'm with you 100%.
If this changes, I get a little bit taken away.
Right.
Or if this ain't the same as how this was, and I just ain't comfortable with that. That's really what it boils down to most of the time.
That's true.
That's really what it boils down to. Who the way it is, who is it affecting the best? And who is it affecting in the most positive ways, and who's it affecting in the most negative ways?
Yeah. How much collateral loss is there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's losing what?
Right.
And how much?
Well, and I think one of the things is some people are like, well, let's just keep it the status quo, and like it's like the group of people who want to keep things the way things are might not be suffering any collateral.
Yeah.
That's why there's no urgency on their end. Shoot, I don't even remember.
Either you don't take a loss or you actually gain.
Shoot, I think I saved it somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but in my chat last night, Mackenzie, she's way. You want to talk about Silver Spoon? Well, better read. She's better read than I am right now, and she talked about something. It was Mises. It was a economist, and he had was getting down to, because economy is like the flow of power essentially in the world. Economics, it's within a smaller level to a macro macroeconomics are two different things. But he was talking about what guides markets, and he was saying something about that intention is the guide of purpose when it comes to sale of something. Like I don't know where I saved it, but she said something about it. But the whole point is that like attentive action or something like that. It was like when you're actually having purpose behind what you're doing, not just it being a part of a loop. Like not just because everyone else is doing it, am I doing it? It's because
there's a real purpose.
Well, even like you were Spanish.
Yeah,
that's just a small example, but like more buying a house. Like, is it within my cultural framework that buying a house is part of how I judge myself? Or a car, or a XYZ, or a nice coat,
my own
or
personal
tattoos, or you can take that to any level. It's like that's where you get the perspective of a person, and that's where things completely change. And when that is so skewed, where you can't have a dialogue over something back here, when like the little periphery stuff that, it's the way you look at yourself, it's the way I look at myself. But it's like all the stuff that we're all dealing with, and you can't talk about that. That's where it.
Yeah, it's a pain because you would rather bicker over the stuff on
that
the
literally
side.
doesn't matter.
You want to talk about that,
right?
Because that's where another thing where the perspective comes from.
Big time.
I keep telling people. I've always told them, it was like, well, why would you want to learn Spanish? Why would you want to do that? And it's just simple as this. Me as a person, like I don't know where the hell it came from. You know what I'm saying? But this is me as a person. I think most people, the way they talk, it sounds like you're only looking here, like you're only thinking about here, where you're affected.
Right.
I can't help it. It's naturally who I am to look here too.
Right.
Well, I can't help that.
In even if I don't completely comprehend it, I can do my best to imagine what it's like.
Yeah, if not even just understanding. Okay, this is that. This is what's going on.
Right.
This is an issue because of this. You may not necessarily feel
it, but at least understand the reality of it.
Understand that it's part of reality. It may not be your personal reality,
right.
but it's reality all the same.
Right.
And just because it's not your reality does not mean that it's less important, nor does it matter.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, it's life is a whirlwind. It's just shit. Like if I had to just put it that way, it's just a whirlwind.
Put it plainly, yeah. But that's the thing is, it's like that's what a lot of religions say. Is like we're one of the people I follow on YouTube, Jesse Lee Peterson. He has a show called The Fallen State, and he says we're in a fallen state because we're in the world of man. I don't know how deep you go into religion, but it's like if you take this world for like not being the end all, if you see your aspirations, your dreams, or what you're trying to do as more than that, something you're taking with you to, more than simply this life, is like your action is going to be completely guided in a different way. Yeah. It's like you're going to be judged again. It's like, if you murder somebody, you're like, well, I can potentially get away with it and live with that for the rest of my life. It's like, no, you're going to be judged for that forever. That's why it's a sin. Yeah. That's where you get into like Christianity, where you believe that you can, even as a sinner, you can still repent and live a life. That's where things get weird with the different religions. That's one thing I was talking to Mackenzie about. She actually went to school about world religions. I was trying to figure out what that, I'm not going to find it, the quote. But
I think it's more or less
well, a lot of people guide by religion.
I mean,
some places,
I think religions, all the religions, I think they're pretty great. They have, excuse me.
Oh, you
They have great information.
Yeah.
But I don't like how man uses them.
Oh, that's definitely an issue.
That will always be the biggest issue. I don't like how you use these things to justify the shitty shit you do.
Oh, yeah.
That is something completely different, in my opinion. That is something completely different.
Well, there's a lot of issues there. Is there something that, in particular?
No, I mean, dude, there's really so many. Like, you really can just say that, and people automatically understand what those issues would be.
Oh yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I'm.
It's just one because it's been a fight for people for forever.
Right.
You got people who are very much into religion. You got people like myself who think of themselves more spiritual people. We're not really held to a religion, but you do believe in something greater.
Mm-hmm.
You do believe that, there's something else beside myself that affects.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people who just like, no.
Right.
How about no?
Yeah, there's some people.
And I respect the hell out of science, too, because I believe it affects our lives.
Yeah.
It affects our lives.
There's a lot of people that I follow on Twitter, and there's a lot of influence I get. Mm-hmm. And there's quite a few people from the kind of watchdog, not scientists, but the people who follow science, mm-hmm. are calling out a lot of scientists. What I get from it is like, why do we assume that the more technological breakthroughs we make, like the quicker that speeds up, why does it gotta keep speeding up? There's a point where it can literally just stop.
Just break.
Well, I'm not saying break. I'm saying where like there being a belly out to it.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
But my thing is that could happen because anything that you build, it has a potential to utterly break.
Right. Well, in that sense, I bring up like the bigger issues, like going to space, things like that, mm-hmm. AI, all that thing. It's like we assume that because we figured out all these other things that we're gonna figure it out again in 10 years.
But my thing is this: look at how dependent you have. A whole generation of kids who don't know a life without not looking at a screen.
Internet. Yeah, I talk about that all the time with my little sister. Mm-hmm. That she, in particular, I was born without the internet. Yeah. I, in my lifetime, have watched people adapt to the internet. Yeah, not only that, I've been part of the generation that's been one of the first customers of the internet.
Yeah, like when you've been part of that, and then you end up being around kids, who are just like, well, how do you not have my phone is better than yours. So you're like, you little bastard! Like, this is all you know. Like, right. This is all you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Granted,
I have a nice phone,
you do have the ability to, when you're that influenced and that educated on the internet that early, hell, you actually have a chance to build more connections with more people outside of your country and anything.
Yeah, you said a huge word there. You said opportunity.
Yeah.
Because just as much as you have the chance to nourish and build yourself, like all the same information that like influenced some of these great writers of today, they read the same classical literature, they read the same poetry. And the thing is, it's like that kind of stuff, like from different languages, mm-hmm. different cultures, is becoming more available than it ever has.
Yeah.
So you can literally, if you want to diversify your education, it should be there.
Yeah.
But the problem is people are going right to the mainstream. Yeah. Like what is where everyone's getting it from? Yeah. Instead of more of a perspective from different areas, And that's like you said about our Jackson Street location. It's like we're getting a lot of different perspectives in one place.
Yeah.
In one place. I think honestly working that job is like, it's a bit of luxury. It's pretty cool.
It's
at times. Just for like my interaction, my experience.
Dude, it's you know what? It's very much a culture enriching experience.
Definitely.
Dude. I appreciated it.
Well, talking about a culture enriching experience, I went out with to the bar 222. I met Anthony, his boyfriend, and then Gregorio and Edgar. Interesting group of guys.
To say the least.
They live life very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's but that's the thing is it's like they invited me out and I don't think they were joking and I was just like, sure, I'll go. And I think they thought I was gonna like be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I was like, oh shit, whatever. I gotta work tomorrow, but I'm not gonna stay out too late. I'm just gonna have a couple like as if you were batting for my team.
Yeah.
It's like why can't interact? And there's like a little bit of like giggly stuff, but I'm like, I know what I'm doing. You're not gonna convert me or anything.
Yeah, dude, like that.
Like that's the one thing that like if you just got away with that, I could have all the gay friends. They're fun people to be around generally.
I mean, yeah, they're cool people.
Yeah. There's just goofy stuff that happens.
Yeah,
and
just
I'm
stop with the certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't hate you. I don't even care. I don't even care. I just want you to stop telling me
some of the
certain things.
Yeah, some of the stuff is
just stop saying certain things.
It's too overt.
Yeah, like I already knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I already.
Well, it makes me laugh all the time. That's why I'm like, it's fine when it's not directed at me.
It's funny, but it's not. Like it's funny, but not. Sometimes
I'm fine with it being hypothetical. That's like where I'm fine with. It's like I don't need. Don't ask, don't tell.
like it's
you're here working with me. You know.
Like I look, dude.
You've been working with them longer than I have.
I look at them dead in the face. No.
Well, the funniest thing Edgar did was he Monse was training Sandy at the time on like Squirrel, like learning how to use the system, and he's like, Monse, I need your help. Here, grab this. And he had
I remember,
Red Bulls. And it's like about that big. Just like damn. Like while she's training a new employee, she's just like making a sexual joke about how small her hands are.
Right.
I was just like,
I've told her plenty of times. I'm like, I know your husband is just like he wants confidence in the morning. He's like, grab it, grab it. Your hands are small. It's perfect.
Feel good.
You feel good about
feeling
me.
Good. I'm going to work today. I'm going to work
Who's
today.
the man?
Yeah.
The man. I feel like that's how women with small hands would make you feel.
Yeah, man, gotta be looking for a small-handed woman.
Oh man,
be a country song about that.
Yeah, I can see it actually happen. That's the bad
small-handed woman, all
making
about
me feel good.
Make me feel good. Bring in that small-handed woman.
It made me feel good about me and my wood.
There you go.
I can see it. All right,
to small-handed women, man.
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure having you on.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And thanks for listening.